In North Carolina in 1999, I believe it was, after Hurricane Fran in 96 and Floyd in 99, a moratorium was passed statewide that you cannot build any more hog farms. We had too many hog farms that had been built in floodplains, and when those two hurricanes hit, it created a situation where hog farms were being flooded and lagoons were being inundated and waters were getting mixed. And in an effort to keep lagoon water in the lagoon where it belongs and creek and river water clean, we passed a moratorium to stop all new builds. So no more new hog farms have been built since 1999. So the only way you can update your farm is to demolish your farm and then rebuild. And in 2019, the grower we're the grower actually, our integrator, our contract integrator, announced that they were closing because of COVID. And that left us with 2 hog farms that were empty and had nobody to put pigs into them. And so we've been like that since 2019 on 2 farms. And so the farm behind me, in about 2023, Smithfield Foods decided that if we remodeled the front half of the barn, of the farm, that they would put some pigs in, wean to finish. And then they told us to wait, and maybe eventually we could tear down the back barns, which were the oldest. They were built in 1978, so they were old. And so about a year ago, we got the go-ahead from Smithfield, and interest rates dropped, which made it a little bit easier for us to stomach the bill. And we began to demolish the back part of this hog farm back behind me, and we rebuilt, and we've grown out 1 turn of pigs. It takes 6 months for a pig to grow from 15 pounds when it comes in off of mom to the time it goes to market, which is about 300 pounds. That takes 6 months. So we finished up 1 turn, is what we call it, and we've got new pigs back there now for the 2nd turn, and things are going well. But a lot has been mechanized. It's all automated. As far as technology in the barn, you've got thermostats that control the heat. Little pigs, when they come in, they like to be really, really warm, like say 90 degrees. So especially in the wintertime, LP gas will eat your pocket up because you're trying to keep those little pigs warm. And you've also got those thermostats that make the fans come on when it gets too warm in there. And there's misters that mist the pigs when it gets too warm. Pigs don't sweat, so you want to keep them cool. So between the misters, which is like a sprinkler for your children in the backyard, and then you've got the fans and the evaporation cooling that goes on there. So there's usually a nice breeze in a hog barn, and it's really cool and kind of moist in the summertime because of the misters. All the feed is automated, so hog feed never runs out. If a pig runs out of food, he's not a happy pig and he's not growing. And so then he starts chewing on stuff like the pinning and other pigs. So you want to make sure that they're always, we call it full feed, 100% full feed. So that's automated too. As they eat down the corn and soybean mixture that's in the feeder, it's replenished automatically. When you get a new barn, it's exciting because it's like getting a new house, right? When this first pig group came in about 8 months ago, I walked in the aisles and I said, guys, you don't know, but you're living in the Taj Mahal, right? Brand spanking new barn, first people in it. Think about going to a brand new hotel or a brand new cruise ship, right? Everything just sparkles and everything works perfectly. It's just shiny and new. So that's the biggest thing is the pride that you get in knowing that you have created the best that there can be to grow that crop of animals out. There's also the added benefit of the equipment working perfectly and not having to worry about, equipment failures or heat not working and not coming on, lines being clean and all the flush happening smoothly. So over time, a hog barn is built so that the floors are slatted and the manure drops through into a pit under the floor, and that is flushed out periodically every day. And so over time, after 50 years, those lines get clogged and you have to get in there and clean them out. So new barns don't get clogged up. They're made to be a little more flushable. a little more easily flushed. You recycle water from your lagoon under the floor to flush out the manure that has dropped through the slats on the floor. And so here are your piping that runs the water under the floor, right, to flush all that stuff out. So it's all about recycling and conserving the water, and that's what these pipes are for. We recycle the lagoon water to flush, right? And so there'll be a big plug here, a big ball here, that every so often we'll, at least once a week, we'll pull it up, and all that water will come out of the bottom of the house and go down that drain to the lagoon, where it's recycled as fertilizer or more flush water.
My name is Betsy Robertson, and my dad, Harold Overman, is who started this farm operation. He's a 7th generation farmer, and my husband and I work here on the farm with my mom and dad, and my husband manages the hog operation, the daily operating policies and procedures that's involved with, and I help out in the farm office. What you're looking at here, construction started in February, and we hope to have pigs populating all these buildings by July.
Old school barns had a rod that you would put right here in these holes. But new school barns have this system where it slips in like that. And so the pig, old school, would take that rod and play with it and get it out. And then they could push this gate open. But now there's no rod, and there's a lock to keep the pigs in. This controls how much feed goes in, depending on how big your pigs are, right? Because the bigger they are, the more they eat, right? That controls how much feed goes in. When the feed gets to the top of here, it stops coming in automatically. It's got a little trigger. These keep the little tiny pigs, when they first come in, they want to crawl in and lay down and just waller in the feed. So this keeps them from doing that, because if they crawl in there and waller around, they'll get stuck. Pigs can't sweat, so you have to cool them off. So in the summertime, we had these sprinklers that come on and mist the pig, and then the fans blow the air over them, and it's just like playing in the backyard in your sprinkler. Another improvement that we've made is these waterers. Old school hog waterers had a little cup attached to the fence. It's a little stainless steel cup with a little hose, and so it was, if they chewed on the nipple, then the water would come out, and they would hang out here. They would camp out here wanting to drink water all the time. So now you do a swinging water that has the nipples at the bottom, and the pig will chew on it and the water comes out. But it's also moving, so the pigs don't gather around and hog all the water. It also becomes a toy. They love to play with this thing that's swinging. But it's also great as the pig grows. This can be adjusted. The height can change. And you're trying to go down the aisle and you're trying to turn a corner and you've got a 90-degree turn, that hog doesn't know which way to go, and it'll stop moving and clog up, and then you've got a roadblock. So now they're building the corners with the slanted corners, no more 90 degrees, which makes it easier for pigs and people to round the corners, and a hog won't stop as quickly. To put more pigs under the same roof conserves fuel, conserves electricity and water. You're flushing the same building all the time, and so this is the new technology, is to put more pigs under the same roof. And the fans come on to keep the air flowing and keep the temperature perfect for the pigs.